Hello everyone, this is Lit here, and Last Epoch has been a game that people talk about lately, and many PoE content creators like this even recommending it, so I decided to give it a try. And also, part of Exile next league is still like end of March, based on GGG posts on the forums. So we have like 30 to 40 days before the next league begin. So I decided to like try Last Epoch, but this is not a review video. It's more like a first impressions. I don't think I know the game enough to review it properly. So I'm making recommends. Just like in PoE, my first build is current Golem, and I always like minion playstyle until GGG decide to nerf it to the ground. So I never play minion again. So in this Last Epoch, I want to play minion again. And I make Necromancer. I've been playing around 3 days. I think I'm level 92 right now. And this is a Fire Necromancer with Skeleton Mage, Golem, and Fire Raid. I do try a bunch of things around. Like I tried the cold one and tried the physical one. So I respecing a lot when I play this game, and I think this is one thing that I fun. Because in PoE, you're not really able to do that. In PoE, you make a wrong decision on the tree, you basically have like limited respecting options, right? And if you run out of it, I mean, you just create a new character, and it's very punishing if you're not following like a build guide or anything like that. Well, in Last Epoch, one thing that I do like about the game is the game have some complexity. I mean, it's not as complex as PoE. It's a lot more straightforward, but it still have some complexity to play around with. The developer actually gives you access to play around with it, so you're not getting punished that much because you make wrong decisions. And I think that's a good thing, because if your game have complexity, you should allow your player to try. I mean, why even bring all the complexity if your players not even want to experiment at all, just because if you get something wrong, it's so punishing, so nobody try anything. But in Last Epoch, I not even using any guide at all. Like, I start with this game with zero knowledge about the game, and the game lets you know what you need to know. Everything is a lot more straightforward. You get a lot of basic mechanic in the campaign, and the skill tree, I mean, you just read it. It's not that much. It's not like you're reading the whole tree in PoE. It's probably going to take days if you want to read everything in the PoE. But in this one, it's pretty straightforward. Like, if you want to go certain directions, the skill tree is very linear, in my opinion. So crafting in Last Epoch is also very interesting. It's very straightforward. It's not as complex as PoE, where you have to know like multiple mechanic and yada yada yada. But there's a lot more control you have in the crafting process in Last Epoch. You can craft specific affixes, and you can reroll specific affixes. You can seal away an affixes. So there's a lot of things you can do, like manual or individual affixes, like a prefix or suffix. But the limitations will be on the item itself. So in Last Epoch, every item have a limit on how you can craft on them. This system, for me, at least on this 3 days I'm playing, it make it easier to get a basic item that you need to go. Like, I need physical resistance, I put physical resistance. I need core resistance, I can craft on core resistance. I can upgrade it too. It's easier for me to get like a basic gear that I need to progress through the game. But it's also still take time for me if I want to create like best in slot or a decent gear or something like that. It still take effort. It still take you need to win an RNG in the crafting process. There's still an RNG in play. But in a nutshell, crafting in Last Epoch is basically you hope you get all you want before you're running out of item crafting limit in the items. So that's basically the crafting in a nutshell. I mean, it's really not that complicated. If you play Path of Exile, this is a lot easier to chew. So that for the crafting systems. Another one is a mapping system that I really like on Last Epoch. It's very similar to the Affliction League. The mapping system allow you to keep bringing up the difficulty, and I think it's called corruption. So you can keep adding the corruptions, and that will make your map harder and harder and harder. So in Last Epoch, the mapping system called Monolith of Fate. So it's basically like a tile. You move from one tile to another, and so on and so forth. And this is basically like Delve in PoE, but you don't have to walk from one node to another, and every node has its own reward. The mapping system is also very interesting because you can target from certain things. If you need like weapon, you can target from weapon. If you need some scroll, some glyph, or some runes, or you need some gold or something like that, you can target from a specific things, and you can choose like which tile you want to go and so on and so forth. I mean, there's a lot more complexity on the mapping systems, which I will explain probably in another video. But the thing that I like the most about the mapping system, because it have you can scale up the difficulty. So when you play around, you upgrade the character, you go into the map, you can keep upgrade the map, you can keep adding corruption to it, which means it's just basically adding more difficulty in it. And you can keep adding it until your character cannot do it. So it does give some challenge, quote unquote challenge, and it gives me a feeling that, you know, I want to try out the build, like how far the build can go. So in that regard, I really like, I like that aspect about the mapping, which is also one reason why I like Affliction like so much, because the waves does make it important for the build to be good or not. So in general, I think the game is very interesting. I like the game. I like the pacing. I like the flow, the progression of flow is very smooth, and I like the mapping systems. I like the crafting. It's not as complex as PoE, but it still have enough complexity for you to play around. So I think that's how I will describe the game. And if you're looking forward to try the game, I think Last Epoch launched at 21st January. You can play now, but the first season will start at 21st January. And yeah, so I think I will stop for now, and I will talk more about the game in detail, because before launch and after launch there's a lot of things will be different. I think they also add like new models, they add new mechanic, they add I think there's a new class too called Warlock, and there's a lot of things changing before the launch. So I will probably talk more about the game when the game actually launches, and we have like a fixed information how things works there. So for now, I'm just going to enjoy the game and try to learn as much as I could. And thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one.